Still using the pivot table the old way? It's time to level up. Let's discover 4 advanced pivot table techniques. These will transform your data analysis, boost your productivity, make your report more insightful and dynamic. Let's dive in and see. Hello everyone, this is Babar and I bring up many Excel and Power BI productivity hacks. First, prepare the dataset. It's a new dataset with the purchase transactions. This dataset has a lot of insight, which we will unlock by advanced pivot table techniques. First of all, convert your data into a table. Make sure to check my data has headers. Now you can create a pivot table that we normally create. Go to insert and insert a pivot table. Even if you want to create a pivot table within the existing sheet, or you can create this on any other sheet. And I'm going to show you how to create groups of cities. Once you have created the pivot table, you then drag cities into the rows and sales into the values. It created a pivot chart. And now we will right click on the cities which we want to group together. So I have selected Faisalabad, Lahore, and right clicked, and then I have selected a group. It has automatically created a group that I can rename as per my requirement. So let me select two other cities, right click and group it together. It has automatically created group 2 and I will rename it as Sindh. All other two, so I have remaining two more cities, so I will create an other group, and it has generically created a group and I will rename it as other provinces. Doesn't this look cool? Because the data set doesn't have this information. And after creating a pivot table and a pivot chart, we have right clicked and created another dynamic information. And this data can be analyzed by a slicer or any kind of other tools, even a pivot chart maybe. But I have created a slicer based on month, and after clicking every month, this data dynamically filters the data even if the groups have and even if the cities groups are working fine. You can see this. This looks very interesting and interactive. Create data ranges within the groups. So we will create another pivot table and a pivot chart, maybe within this sheet, or we can create a new sheet. So I have created another pivot table within the same sheet. Next, add fields to the pivot table. Same way I have dragged one aspect into the rows and the sales in the values. Now we want to create data ranges. We will go ahead with the similar information that we have just given. We will right click and select the ranges. We will enter the related informations with what type of the gap it can create the ranges. That the basic information, and clicking OK will create the ranges automatically. Again, this data can be dynamically reviewed via a pivot chart and a pivot table. So trick 3, database in a cell. For this, we will create another pivot table. We will drag salaries into the rows. So we will drag salaries. So we will drag division to rows. Next, add fields to the pivot table and salary 2 times into the values. So we have now 2 identical columns. So we will right click onto the second column on one area. On the ones, we'll select one cell and the right click and go to, we will select second column and go to conditional formatting and apply the data bars. And also check that the data bars to be copied right below all the cells. So we have two options. One is to go to design node and remove the subtitles. You can see if we remove the subtitles, it removes all the data around the table. So in the second area, you want to create these data bars and the transactions within the second column only. So there is a trick, right click on this, go to properties, pivot table So you want to create data bars in the second cell, and the first cell will show the values. So what the trick we will use, we will select all the data of the column where we want to create data bars, where we want to create data bars, and right click and go to the custom format cell. We'll select the text given and replace it with three semicolons. See, now only the data bars are reflecting, and even the data is available in the adjacent column. So even if this data is dynamic and it's not a one-time use, so even if you add a pivot chart and a slicer, it will dynamically affect and filter the data. So thank you so much for your time. We have discussed an important thing that gives us an advanced analytics within the pivot tables. Pivot tables we've been normally using is something we can go advanced levels to. So I hope this video has helped you to bring your data to the next levels of your data analysis. And I would request to like this video and subscribe for the channel. It gives us motivation to bring more high quality content for you. Thank you so much for your time and have a nice day.